Do any of you have anything else to add?
Mrs. Hartley, do you want to say anything as our maths lead? I feel as if you've had a really important role to play in all of this.
In all year groups now, whether we're in Red Road Mastery or not, we're starting with the problem, and I think that's a really good approach, because obviously we still do the next steps marking, but to put it at the beginning of the lesson and then to model through as a teacher so that all children have access, but then also see the outcome of that problem, I think is really, really good, because they're learning approaches, aren't they, to problem solving as well. I really like the idea of keeping the class together, not having those ceilings on different groups, and the reasoning throughout the lesson. And like you were saying, that the materials support more and less experienced teachers as well. So I think we do have that really consistent approach through school. So I think it's excellent. I love it. I really love it.
Thank you, Charlotte. Anybody else? Charlotte or Beth, do you want to add anything on?
Just one thing. I think you need to make sure you've got enough time to do it all, because I think if you didn't have, for example, more than 50 minutes, 55 minutes, I don't think you'd get through it all in one go. You have got to be dead on it with each section, and to cover everything within an hour. We're quite lucky. We do have, the time to do it all. But I think if other schools were going to, go ahead with it, they would definitely need that hour every day to fit everything into that lesson, because there is quite a lot to get through in each lesson. It's not a bad thing, certainly not a bad thing, but because there is so much to get through, you've got to be on it with your timings and things like that.
Yeah. So if you want to teach maths successfully, you've got to devote the right amount of time to it. And then within your lessons, allow that discussion, allow that exploration of your initial problem, to really get children thinking deeply about the learning and recognizing what maths might be needed today. And then thinking about different approaches and appreciating and evaluating different ways of tackling the same problem. So yeah, you do absolutely need that time. Thanks, Charlotte.
Yeah. Cool. I quite sorry to interrupt again. I quite like the parts of the lesson where you are having that discussion with the children, though, because you can literally go on forever about a problem and how they solved it. There's so many different ways that children solve it, and they want to tell you their way that they solved it. And that is obviously really important. You don't want to skip over that and be like, oh no, not got time for that now, let's move on. You need to obviously concentrate on certain parts of the lesson where you feel this is really working, let's carry on discussing. Yeah, and having that time is important. Like not spending too much time on your starter, for instance, a quick 5-minute starter, that's fine, then move on. But some parts of the lesson you should concentrate more on, I feel.
Yeah.
I like that, Charlotte, as well. Sorry, just to add that at that point you can model your efficiency as well, can't you? You can pull them up on when, they might be giving their way of doing a problem, but you can also pull in the efficiency and say, well, actually, could have done it this way. So it gives you an opportunity, doesn't it, to come in there and model that efficiency.
Yeah, children do need teaching how to make the right decisions, don't they? So that is a good opportunity, Charlotte, that you mentioned there, of getting that conversation, that discussion about efficiency. Okay, that's excellent.
I think Beth's got one more thing to add. Sorry, Andy.
Yeah, I was just going to say that although you've got the teaching script and everything, I very quickly picked up on that it's okay to adapt it sometimes. Sometimes I had children that got onto deeper learning, but they struggled to read it, or they struggled to write down what their explanation. So it's also that you can adapt it and you can support them, because they've got the reasoning skills, but it's getting it down for some children.
I think that's
so
a
it is
point,
okay
Beth.
to sometimes adapt it to suit the learners.
And you've got to do that with any materials that you use in school for any subject. They're not written for your children, they're not written personally for your children. So you do need to tweak them and adapt them and use your professional judgment as you're using these materials. So yeah, that's a really good point to make, Beth. Thank you. So thank you ever so much for sharing your experiences at Edenfield of implementing the Red Rose Maths scheme. I'm so pleased that it's going so well for you as teachers and for the children. And it's so refreshing hearing, the testimonials like this. And thank you ever so much for your time. And I hope the success continues up into Key Stage 2 this year and beyond.